So it's really on the light side of the bread, paired with quite a heavy filling. Okay, thank you very much, Miguel. So, Malcolm. So you live in France for so long. So you usually eat. You work as what in France?
Yes, my work is now mainly in connection with tourism. I take groups around Paris, show them the museums, show them the sights, as it were.
So it's like a curator in France. Okay. So how does the French people take on to sandwiches? How do they like their sandwiches?
I think much simpler than what I'm seeing here today. These seem to be quite exotic sandwiches, and the typical French sandwich is, one or two ingredients at most. So it's quite a different style. And of course, the main bread is the typical French baguette, which, if fresh, is something quite extraordinary.
So normally in France, they only eat it with tomatoes and a sliced cheese, or a chèvre. What kind of cheese is your favorite in Paris?
The typical, what should we say, blue cheese sometimes, quite often, and Comté or Gruyere, for example, and quite often you have what they call a sandwich mixed, which is, for example, a slice of Gruyere cheese with various types of ham. And otherwise we have what we call rillette, which is a kind of greasy pate. It doesn't sound very attractive, but it is.
Tastes like heaven. Okay, so how do you differentiate an American sandwich to a French one?
I think the French are more concerned with, what should we say, simplicity, and the Americans tend to want to offer something where you can, add this or that and make it, to your own style, as it were. I think the French will just offer you a sandwich, and that's it.
Especially on a Sunday morning, you would buy a bread from a boulangerie, and then you're going to buy some chèvre or some French cheese, like a blue cheese, and some fresh tomato from the market, and then paired it up with a white wine. So it would be a picnic already in Paris.
Very much so. I think in the summer, anyway. I mean, no one's talking about picnics in winter today, but a bottle of wine, bread, selected ingredients, but again, something probably quite simple, and away you go.
Okay, we should do that again sometime in La Paz Market or La Paz Plaza. Okay. So we have a cross-cultural diversity when it comes to sandwiches. European, they always wanted their sandwiches to be light. Like for me, I live in Milan or in Italy for 3 years, and then it's similar to the French people. They always wanted to pair it with a pâté or a foie gras or a simple cheese, a blue cheese in their sandwiches. Unlike for Americans, they always wanted to have several cheeses onto their sandwich, and then they're going to have some different kind of pastrami, ham preparations into their sandwiches. And that covers already to their meal. It could be a very light lunch or a supper for those working people. So right now there are several teams who are plating their entries. So we have to present 3 kinds of sandwiches. So most of the ingredients here are a combination of several unconventional ingredients. Like the most often or the most common ingredients for a sandwich is like bread, ham, and cheese, and eggs sometimes, and you call that a club sandwich. Okay. And we could also see some colorful breads, like the use of butterscotch and ubi bread into their sandwiches. But there are some teams that they are preparing the more conventional way, or the more conventional bread, like a ciabatta or a French baguette. However, here in Iloilo, or here in the Philippines, the ciabatta is very far from the original one in Italy, and also with the French baguette. The French baguette here is quite dense. Unlike in Italy, or in Paris, it's very soft. soft and airy inside, but it's very crusty and hard on the outside.